Hello everyone, welcome to the resumption of normal broadcast for the Purple Penny weekly video. Those of you who are watching later on YouTube, there was no video posted last week because we did a live walk around at the Adelaide Coin and Banknote Expo. We only published that to Facebook, didn't pop that up on YouTube, but here we are back almost as normal, but we're in a different location. There's things going on at the shop today that mean that it's not suitable for recording a video in. So I'm at home, just hiding behind the logo there is the thermostat from our air conditioner. The house is empty, it's just me here. Catherine's off doing other things. My name's Mark. I run the Purple Penny along with my wife Catherine. We're a small coin and banknote dealer in the northern suburbs of Adelaide. We've been in operation for the shop's been in operation for about 3.5 years. The business itself for 10 years or more. And we've been publishing these videos for coming up to 2 years now. Last week was, as I said, a little bit different because there was a great big coin and banknote show here in Adelaide that Catherine and I and our employee Jared attended for 3 days. And I've got to say, it was nice to have a day off yesterday. It was the first day off yesterday that we've had in quite a while, just to have a day away from coins and banknotes and things like that. But here we are, bigger and better than ever. So the last week we had the RAM release on Thursday, of course, with the ABC coins and ACDC coins. And then the next month's releases have been announced, and of course coins continue to be in the news, and we will run through some of those things. Those of you who are here in Adelaide might have heard me on Tuesday night on ABC Drive Radio. I was interviewed at about 5:45 by Jules Schiller. It was quite a good interview. I was pleased with how it went. Jules was he was a great host actually. He asked some great questions and he made the interview very easy. Right, let's jump into the news. So the Adelaide Expo is run and done. It ran last Saturday, Sunday and Monday at the Torrens Parade Grounds here in Adelaide. The Saturday was intensely busy from 10 until about 2:30, and I believe on Saturday we turned over as much in a day as what we did for the whole expo the last time it was run. Sunday was still busy, as was Monday. I was actually very surprised with how busy Monday was. We wound up about an hour early on Monday because, I'll be honest, I'd had enough. I was exhausted by then. Catherine held it together a lot better than what I did. So kudos to her. There was about 21 other dealers from around Australia that attended. There were literally thousands of people that came through the show over 3 days. For the first time, the expo tried social media advertising, and I think that worked out really well. We had a whole lot of new faces at the show that we've never seen before. And the product of the show really, I guess, was $2 coins. It's probably no surprise given what's been going on in the world in the last month. I saw more purple coronations in 3 days than I have ever seen in my entire life. There were people with hundreds of them. I saw bags, I saw rolls. I met someone who had a jumbo bag of them. They were everywhere. There were also a lot of interest in mint product. We sold a lot of mint product I never thought we'd sell. We just about sold all the mint sets that we took with us. And we also sold a lot of world coin sets, which I didn't expect to sell either, plus just about a whole basket of world banknotes. I was quite amazed at some of the stuff that moved. Yeah, it was a great show. Catherine and I are super grateful for everyone who came along and said hello to us. We're kind of disappointed on Saturday we didn't get to talk to as many people as what we'd want to, but it really was too busy. I will just give a special shout out to a few people who I got a bottle of wine. You might have seen the beautiful Salvital tin that someone gave us. I got a couple of pats on the back, as did Catherine. it's nice to know that, I guess, we try to do our best, and it's nice to know that you out there do see that. And thanks to everyone who came to see us at the show. There were a number of people who came to see us first thing on Saturday who happened to be in the shop at last thing on Friday. So, there's some pretty keen coin collectors out there, and good on you for being so keen. Right. The expo will be happening next year, I imagine. I imagine there'll be more demand from dealers interstate next year, because several of the dealers did say that they thought the show was better than the ANDA show in Melbourne that finished a few weeks ago. So, hopefully next year it'll be bigger and better. The Royal Australian Mint released some products on Thursday. It was a bit of a quieter release this month, especially for us, given the expo. We're really just focusing on that. But there was an ABC half-ounce silver coin, an ABC 20-cent coin, and the next set of ACDC 20-cent coins. The ABC coins had a very limited dealer allocation, so as such we did not get enough to even put them up on our website. We barely had enough to sell over the counter on Thursday, which is always disappointing. I don't know where in particular the copper nickel 20-cent ABC coins are. The mintage is 30,000, so there's a few of them around, but we don't have them. And I guess the extra disappointing thing for us is that the ABC obviously did media coverage on them the day before, and we just didn't have any to sell people that were coming in on Thursday to buy them off of us. Those of you who didn't get them, please, good luck finding them. Don't overpay. I'm sure the other 30,000 or whatever it is that the dealers didn't get will show up. The ACDC coins were not especially popular, but as a product they are very similar to the box set that came out in 2021. The coins visually look virtually identical. The box is virtually identical. I can only imagine that the Royal Australian Mint has an ongoing contract with ACDC to release these coins as a series. They don't inspire me very much. Those of you who are into ACDC, that's great, and I hope you enjoy those coins. Poppy $2. I hate to go there, but of course the Mint did announce on Wednesday night that next month there is going to be a new Poppy $2, the 10th anniversary of the 2012 Poppy $2. It's a C Mint mark coin. Supposedly the mintage is 60,000. I'm not sure whether the price is going to be $15 or $17.50. That's a bit vague at the moment from the Mint. The Mint, to their in their defence, the Mint are extremely busy at the moment, and they admit that. Oh, thank you, Cam. Cam's just telling me the first ACDC set was 2020. Apologies for getting that wrong. I said 2021. The Mint is very busy at the moment, and sometimes a bit of their communications is a bit messed up. So there is going to be a new C Mint mark coin coming out in November. It's either going to be $15 or $17.50. It's the 10th anniversary of the Red Poppy $2. Don't know what the design's like. There is not going to be a roll. The next interesting release is the Beauty Rich and Rare coins, which is the second in the series. You might remember, I think it was last year, someone will correct me, that there was a Great Barrier Reef coin, which was a bit of a surprise hit. Our allocations on those coins back then was tiny. We didn't get a fraction of what we asked for. The demand on those coins was huge, so if you are collecting that series, you're going to have to get your feelers out there to try and get your hands on that Daintree $5 Beauty Rich and Rare coin. It is going to be a hard one to find. The Smith family is having their centenary, and there's going to be $1 released celebrating that at $15. It must just be a copper aluminium bronze dollar. Again, we haven't seen any pictures of any of these, so we're kind of flying blind. And the Beauty Rich and Rare coin is being released in a 1 ounce gold proof. Now, I will just say that Catherine and I are not taking interests in any of these releases this month. The amount of people that want this poppy $2 is just off the charts, and we don't know how many we're going to get. I know the last 3 C Mint Mark releases that we've had, we did not get enough to even keep our own customers that come into the shop happy. So as a result, we are going to do things a bit differently. There will be, we hope, stock in our shop on release day, and we're experimenting with a different way of making them available to online customers. But for this month at least, we will not be taking expressions of interest in the Mint's releases. Stay tuned on Facebook for what we're going to do. There may well be opportunities for our social media followers to get their hands on an allocation of those coins after release day, but we're still tossing ideas around about how to do that. No doubt there is going to be a lot of demand for that $2 poppy and a lot of price gouging on release day, so we'll try to do our best to be as equitable with everyone as possible. Right, let's just not talk about the red poppy anymore. Let's have a look at some comments and some hellos before we move on. I always like saying hello to people. Hello Patrick, Paul, John, Greg, Rob, Jason, David, Andy, Owen, Gary. No worries, Gary. I do enjoy doing the videos. It's no great struggle doing the videos. Mike, Edward. Not even going to attempt to say that one. Rob, Pal, Cam, David Trotter. I've already said hello to David. Glennis, Sandy, and Alison and Ash. Thank you, Ash, for the Salvital tin. It's much appreciated. Petra, Ben, Pauline, Catherine Harris. What's she doing watching this video live? I'm just going to switch the microphone. Right, David Trotter did have something to say about the $2 coins. He says $2 coins are the most popular decimal issue to collect. What was the most popular pre-decimal denomination to collect? David, I can really only think of 3 or 4 people across the whole show who asked about pre-decimal coins. We took some pre-decimal albums and they barely got touched. We had pre-decimal slabs, they barely got touched. I think someone asked me about a Centennial Florin. That's the only time I can recall being asked about someone buying a pre-decimal coin. It was that market, I think, has pushed primarily online, and I'm not sure how many people go to shows to look for that sort of stuff anymore. It's kind of disappointing, and just sort of anecdotally talking to a couple of dealers that were at the show, they did feel like they had brought the wrong things along to the show, and they had primarily bought pre-decimal coins, and they just felt like there was no interest at the show for those. Certainly in the shop, the most popular denominations are florins and pennies and crowns. That's the ones that everyone's always asking about: florins, pennies, and crowns. 1937 crowns, we could mint them and sell them. There's that many people that want 1937 crowns. Right. Hello, Carolyn. How are you? Now, one of the questions that I was asked on the ABC last week was about the 1930 penny auction result. And there was a 1930 penny that was auctioned by Lloyd's, who are a sort of a general purpose auction house here in Australia. And they managed to get some press for that 1930 penny prior to the auction and achieved a what on the surface seems like a pretty remarkable result. I think with buyer's premium, the penny, and we'll just pop up a picture of it here, and I'll just say thank you to Lloyd's Auction House for use of this picture there. It's not a great picture, but it's the best one I could find on their website. It is a 1930 penny. It grades, I don't know, good fine or about very fine, or somewhere in that range. It didn't appear to have any problems, and with auction premium it sold for just under $60,000. which is a pretty remarkable result given that Downies have a couple of better examples for purchase on well, they did last week at least, for purchase on their website for about half the price. So I just wonder whether someone didn't get a bit excited in the auction, or someone's got a bit excited in the auction and perhaps overpaid somewhat on that. But, you know, the way the coin market is at the moment, there just is a lot of heat in the market. And we get more than a few people coming into the shop that have paid way too much for things at auction, and they freely admit it. I had one come in the other day who said that he needs to stop drinking and bidding because he completely overpaid for a whole bunch of stuff. So I am pleased that my idea that the person overpaid for that is being supported by a couple of people in the comments here. I haven't really spoken to anyone about it other than Catherine, but I do feel like it is overpaid. David Trotter says he thinks the buyer is going to have trouble getting an independent valuation attesting to its value. I suspect that that is very much the case. Mike says it is way overpriced at $60,000, and Peter wants to know, does it make his worth $200,000? I don't think I've seen your 1930 penny, Peter, so I wouldn't know. And John Belcher says that IAG have 4 1930 pennies in their next auction. It'll be interesting to see if that heat carries across to that auction. Those of you who don't know about the 1930 penny, it is, I guess, the most legendary pre-decimal coin, the one that everyone knows about. Even non-coin collectors know about the 1930 penny. The mintage is 1200 to 1500, and the theory is that they were made just to test out the dies. There were no Australian pre-decimal coins minted for 1930 other than the halfpenny and a few 1930 pennies. It was right after, just a few months after the Great Depression hit, and the Treasury decided not to make any coins. So the 1930 penny was first found to be low mintage in the middle of the 1940s and really sort of achieved legendary status, a decimal changeover in the middle of the 1960s. And it is the one coin that non-coin collectors do know about, the 1930 penny. It's the one that lots of people are chasing after. Another coin that popped up in the news this week, which has been the source of many a phone call for us this week, is this one, a rather innocuous looking 1977 50-cent piece. What makes it unusual is that the tail side of the coin has the coat of arms on it, and of course the 1977 50-cent piece was the Queen Silver Jubilee design, and definitely not supposed to have the coat of arms reverse on it. This circulated one was just graded by PCGS. I think it's the only one they've graded, and it is in fact a mule. A mule being coin dies that were used together that were not intended to be used together. So what's a 1977 Silver Jubilee 50-cent piece worth? 50 cents. What's this one worth? I don't know, $20,000, $30,000 perhaps. It is an extremely rare coin. I don't know what the number extant is. Perhaps Peter Andrews might be able to offer some advice on it, but I suspect it's less than 10, and it's a pretty remarkable error coin, and a mule that is perhaps less obvious than what you'd think, and easily one that could pass through your hands completely unnoticed because it is just a fairly normal looking 50-cent coin. Peter says that he believes it's mint sport. Those of you who don't know what the term mint sport is are coins that are made deliberately by mint workers who deliberately pair up dies that aren't supposed to be used together and strike some coins, or perhaps deliberately make errors. So Peter is suggesting that this coin is mint sport. I have no idea whether it is. David Trotter saying there's 8 to 10 known. Greg is saying 10 known, so that agrees with what I thought the numbers were. So a extremely rare coin. The other bit of coin news that popped up in the news in the last sort of 10 days or so is the Royal Mint came out with the portrait of Charles III. So clearly they had pre-prepared this and had designs in play already. This design was approved by Charles and has been released already. I don't believe the coins are available yet, but the Royal Mint has been selling them via their website for the last week. Available in a range of different formats and denominations. So this is a 50p coin, which you can get in silver and copper, nickel and gold and platinum. There's also a bullion range of 1 ounce and 10 ounce and kilo coins in various different precious metals. There's also a crown sized example as well. So, various different formats and materials. They are on delivery delay of about 16 weeks, according to the Royal Mint website. Now, we are not... Peter's just asking if we're going to get some for our shop. I would actually really love to get some of these, Peter. I think the 50p's, which I think are about £12 or something, would probably sell really well, but we're not Royal Mint distributors, so we won't be getting any. If you are after them, I believe that Downies are Royal Mint distributors, so they may well have them available. Now, the 50p is supposedly going to be released into circulation. Now, the Royal Mint is very cagey about when that's going to be, and I simply think that's because even though they had the portrait in place, they didn't necessarily have all the production issues for the design worked out. And, striking a portrait for a collector coin is a very different exercise to striking one for circulation, simply because they coins that need to wear in circulation, and for collector coins they don't have to, and also dyes need to be able to produce many more coins for circulation issues as compared to collector coins. So the design of the portrait would need to be varied, and that kind of agrees with stuff that we've been told by the Royal Australian Mint here. So great to see the portrait appearing. That's it for this week. I don't have a topic of the week because I thought there was more than enough coin news for us to get on with. We'll just have a look at some comments here. So Peter asked, Sandy's asking, why do mint workers create mint sport? I don't know, Sandy, because it's something to do maybe. Perhaps back in the day it was done for profit. Perhaps it was done for mischief. The 2007 double-headed 5-cent piece was supposedly created mischievously by a mint worker in the 1970s. Perhaps these things were made and just taken home with no thoughts about profit, but just making something interesting. It's hard to know what the motivations of people's are. So I did suggest Downies might be worth trying if you wanted to order those Royal Mint coins, and Petra is just suggesting that that's a good thing to try as well. Rob is asking, do you think they'll change the effigy again after the coronation and put a crown on him? No, I don't think they will. I think they'll go with that. Remember that the first portrait of the Queen didn't have a crown on. The Gillick portrait, she didn't have a crown on. George VI didn't have a crown on. Not on Australian and British coins, but he did have a crown on some British Commonwealth coins. So I don't think they'll change it. I think it looks really good without a crown. And I'll avoid making a joke about a low-slung crown covering up ears. But no, I don't think they'll change it. But I don't know. That's just my guess. My guess is no better or worse than anyone else's. Pal says he ordered a couple of the 50p's from the Royal Mint, and Brendan is saying security at the Mint was a lot less in the 1970s, and that's absolutely correct, Brendan. It absolutely was a lot less, and certainly the Mint was a lot less controlling of the scrap and things like that left the Mint. We, for example, bought some used coin dies that were from the 1970s, and they were just pulled out of scrap bins at a scrap merchant that had bought scrap off of the Mint. So, and I can assure you that the Mint would not allow that to happen these days. And I think that's about it. Hi Aaron, welcome. I think that'll do for today, everyone. Thank you everyone for watching. Those of you on YouTube, apologies you missed out on the video last week, but we're back this week and we'll continue right through for the rest of the year, I hope. Happy collecting, everyone. Remember, collect what you love, and we'll be back same time next week. Bye for now.